Hello, it's me, Benjamin Brown. Today's Tuesday, May 28th. I'm here at my apartment at 1195 Rue Montcalm, apartment 312. So my claim of asylum status here in Canada against the United States government was declined. I'm in the process of trying to figure something out. Um, it actually hasn't been really going that well for me. I've complained several times in my video logs and my video journals about some of the different things that have happened to me. People are damaging my clothing and stealing my stuff. Um, I routinely sit down to watch like my cartoons and my movies and things like that, and uh, the DVD like skips or cuts out whenever I just tap it lightly or touch it lightly, and sometimes just when I'm pressing the buttons. Somebody's trying to make me use remote control, but I don't really want to use it specifically because of the Dragon Ball character and the Powerpuff Girl characters, and I think like somebody's trying to make me use remote control or give a message to use remote control on the Powerpuff Girls or on me or something. And Powerpuff Girls allude to my daughters, and Dragon Ball is elusive of me. Um, but I'm here, and I know I'm supposed to be here, but I'm like not doing really well. It's to the point now that they're poisoning my water, my tap water. It started happening sometime in the middle of 2023. Like here and there, I was like coming home and I was finding this salty, crusty residue on my shirt, and it seems like now that what they're putting in my food, what it is that they were putting in my water is they're putting in my food as well. And I was drinking coffee at the job site regularly, and I'm drinking coffee regularly here. And it's now to the point where the water has some substance in it that puts a layer of some sort of blubber on the outer layer of my lower abdomen, and it looks like it's sort of like just exaggeratingly abnormal. Like the rest of my body is slender and skinny, but my belly is like extremely puffed up, and I'm upset about it. It's kind of I guess their intentions are to make me lose interest in trying to keep my body up, and I'm extremely working or interested in working and trying to keep my body up just because I'm so interested in this Goku character, and I'm so interested in the superheroes thing, and it's really detrimental to me psychologically to not be able to like just manifest this one thing because I can't fly around, and I can't fight off aliens from other planets, and I can't travel through time like Future Trunks, or like the guy from the H.G. Well movies, or like Dr. Emmett Brown from Back to the Future, and I'm like really determined to try to do this thing. And it's weird because this way that these people have it set up is there's a bunch of slaves that are essentially remote controlled slaves, human slaves that are picking on me and picking fights with me, and they essentially compose a substantial portion of the what looks to be Canadian, French, English army. I get picked on by guys that say that they're French, but they're blonde and they're blue eyed, which means they have some sort of connection to Germans or Norse. I'm beginning to suspect that maybe the blonde haired, blue eyed German thing is not a native thing of Germany. All of my history and things that I've encountered have been fabricated, and I've seen pictures of what I was told were German people, and they were like, fair skinned and brown haired and brown eyed, and brown hair and brown eyes seems to be a very common thing. But I don't know. Maybe it's a Norse thing, and like the Norse, and I don't know. I don't like everybody's been hiding their bloodlines and hiding people, and trying to disguise where they come from and who they're loyal to, and I'm just like literally being caught up in their espionage, class, technology, religious war. It's very hard for me to be. It's very hard for me to be concise, and it's very hard for me to be deliberate. Um, it's next to impossible for me to really be in complete control of myself because of the device that's in my head. Um, I I'm extremely eager to please, but it doesn't seem like I have very much to offer whoever these important and powerful people are, and time travelers or people from other planets or whatever. Um, I'm um, I'm not educated. I've spent all my time at my job, and I'm literally not being given the real government social network. So I can't complain about the stuff in my water, and I can't complain about the stuff in my food, and I can't complain about the social service programs here in Quebec ignoring me. I know, in fact, that there's some sort of connection between me and the Stranglers, Golden Brown. There's a connection um, between me and the Susie and the Banshee song and my missing daughter. There's connections between me and all these other songs and stuff, and I'm always talking about them. I don't really elaborate on them or talk about them too much. But it's a very well known thing that for some reason, somewhere along the way in the United States of America, they decided to enact a prophecy out of a Christian book. And to enact that prophecy and to validating it, also kind of triangulated and coordinated the validation of other prophecies that were laid down in Judaism and Islam. Judaism and Islam, I don't really have any proof that they existed before the late 1800s. My dad would always talk about Christianity, and he talked about it about how he experienced it with his mother, my grandmother, who was poisoned and killed, and his father, my grandfather, who I met one time. I didn't know I had Arab ancestry. I didn't know that I was Asian, and I didn't know that I was Indian Arab. I'm starting to kind of like figure things out a little bit, but it doesn't seem like people here are particularly fond of me. And it's because on top of being drawn into a class, social, religious, and political war, and a financial resource war, I'm also being drawn into a conflict where I'm kind of put in the situation where I am part native, and I have native ancestry and ties to the natives of the countries misnomered Canada and America and South America and all the Americas and the Caribbeans, the territories misnomered as the Caribbean. And I'm kind of put in the situation where I'm kind of like where I kind of feel like I've got to kind of defend my cousin's territorial rights, but at the same time I've also got to defend my English German cousin's rights, and then figure out how to kind of build a bridge between these two conflicting things, and then try to figure out how to solve this problem. And there's all kinds of weird things going on, and I think that probably the ancestral territorial rights to the islands misnomered the Caribbeans might be one of the reasons that I if I get killed, it'll probably be because of that, or it'll be because somebody somewhere raped clone versions of my kid, or real clone versions of my kid, and is trying to get away with it. There seems to be some sort of connection between me and the story of Job, as it is purported in the Tanakh and Christianity and in Islam. In Islam, it says that he is a messenger of God, and that he is challenged, and that he's all his stuff taken away, but then he has all his stuff returned to him. In the story of the Tanakh, Job, he actually loses everything, and he's like an upright man, and he like worships God, and he does everything right. But the message that the story of Job was supposed to express is sometimes you can do everything right, and even though you're doing everything right, bad things happen. And the reason that this was emphasized was because the Ten Commandments, as they were bestowed upon the Israelites from Moses, were supposed to give you a body of law so that the community could work together and could do things together and could navigate situations in which they encountered people and encountered all these different stressful things. And the story or the myth to the Ten Commandments was that if you followed the Ten Commandments and you always kept God at the center of your life, that you could not be defeated, especially if you had the Ark of the Covenant at your head or at the front of you. If you had the Ark of the Covenant and you followed the Ten Commandments, and you were essentially unbeatable. And there was these times that the Israelites were conflicted and they encountered all these things that just like didn't seem to add up. Like they just couldn't figure out why all these bad things were happening to them. And the story of Job was supposed to emphasize this, is that sometimes you're just challenged by God, and sometimes you're just like completely challenged and completely just restrained and completely just going through hardships, and you're doing everything right, and that's just how it is, and you just have to like overcome these things. But there seems to be some sort of connection. I know it sounds goofy, but the only reason that I've started like calling attention to it is I feel like the English government is explicitly ignoring me. And I feel like not only that the English government is ignoring me, but the French government is ignoring me. I mean, they're putting stuff in my food to make me fat. And, anyway, I think that, that the whole, like, James Bond series and TV series was in some way meant to be elusive of me. And, the reason is because I didn't know I was Arab, and I'm coming into knowing that I might be Jewish, and practicing the Day of Rest rites and things like that, learning what it is to be a Jew. James Bond, JB. In Hebrew, there's no vowels, there's only consonants. So if you were to take the English language and put JB, that would in fact be Job. And I guess that's also why it's called a job. It's called a job because of Job, and everybody knows who Job is, and everybody knows that that's why it's called a job, as a servant of God or as a servant of humanity. I think it means that the English probably don't take me quite seriously, but the 007, I guess, is supposed to be elusive of the Day of Rest. Sunday is actually the first day of the week, and Saturday is actually the last day of the week, and Friday is the sixth day. And Sunday, and then Monday is number 2, and then Tuesday is number 3, and then Wednesday is number 4, and then Thursday is number 5, and then Friday is number 6, and then Saturday is number 7, and that's why it's Sabbath, or Shabbat, or Sabado. So there seems to be some sort of connection, so there has to be somebody who's English around here who's aware of me. And growing up, my favorite movie used to be, as a kid, was Errol Flynn's Robin Hood. And there's like allusions to like the Maybach car company in Robin Hood, like Maid Marian and like the Cult of Mary. But I guess the message that somebody in some European power was trying to emphasize specifically to me, because I grew up watching this movie and it was my favorite movie, was that somebody somewhere is pretending to be the king and isn't really the king. And the story was that Prince John was ruling over England because Richard the Lionheart was off somewhere else, not where he was supposed to be, and his brother was trying to kill him and take the throne from him. Richard the Lionheart, I guess there was some sort of essence to the mythology that he was descended from an Arab Hebrew bloodline, but I don't know if that's really true or not, because I don't know if the religion dates back further than the late 1800s. There seems to be a substantial portion of English culture that's associated with Christianity. Whether Richard the Lionheart was descended from Judah or from King David or from Abraham, I don't really know. There seems to be some sort of connection between the word Abraham and Abel and ability and absent and abolition and ablution. And I think that there might be some sort of connection between the word Arab and Abraham, but it doesn't make sense that Abraham would be the father of all Arabs, as according to the purported mythology that Abraham was specifically descended from the same Arab that fathered all of the other Arab tribes, but not specifically just because you were Arab didn't mean that you were descended from Abraham. But I think there's some sort of connection between the word rabbi and Arab. Being Arab, I mean, I didn't know I was Arab. I don't know, like, I've heard of this thing called Arab imperialism. And Arab imperialism, Arab European imperialism, I kind of look around Mexico and I see that, like, things are not well for my country, for my tribesmen, righteous and salvageable where they may be. Peace and blessings be upon them. They seem to also have some sort of relationship with Indian people from India and Arabs, and also Russians and Spaniards. I don't think that the logical thing to do would be to wipe out the native people, but it is something that I am afraid of. I'm worried about the Inuits, and I'm worried about the North American natives. And I'm worried about the people living in poverty in India that don't have water, and I'm worried about the people living in poverty in, I know to be concerned about the people in the Sudan, even if I'm not particularly stoked about being surrounded by black people that are tied to the North American entertainment industry and black people tied to the Caribbean. I'm dealing with a lot. I'm always broke and I'm always really stressed out. They're using this device in my head to, like, really kind of jack my brain and my mentality up, and I never really operate under full clarity. And I'm always trying to follow through with what I kind of think is expected of me. And initially, what I came here to do was to request protection from America, and then it turned into, I need to get this case across to the French and English courts to try to get their attention because I'm this person, and I'm assuming that you've been waiting for me. And now it's like turned into like, we don't really need you. We have another one that was raised by the state that's totally loyal to our guys that fuck little boys in the ass and fuck little girls in the ass. And I guess that's the Ben Brown that everybody wants. The one that doesn't really say anything if you have sex with kids or if you rape women. The one thing I will say is that I do curse people, and I do intentionally mean to literally curse people into death. And everybody kind of chuckles and laughs like, that's so funny. Ben thinks he's really cursing us. But when I curse you, I want you to know that, what I'm saying is not only am I wishing and imposing, like, the will of the global humanity and God and everybody to end your life and to end your existence, but I'm also telling them, like, I'm not going to complain to you if you come onto this guy's wife. I'm not going to complain to you or call you out on it if you date this guy's girlfriends. Because why should I honor a man who doesn't have any respect or reverence for these things that we believe or that we articulate or that are meant to perfect our nature and help us evolve and progress, when all he wants to do is spit in my food or throw the rape of my children in my face or undermine me for the purpose of gaining credibility with a criminal crowd that probably doesn't respect him or like him anyway. So if I've cursed you, fair warning, I'm not going to call anybody out about sleeping with your wife or with your girlfriends or taking your stuff. So, I mean, I guess there's still the police, right? You can still call the police and say, hey, this guy totally slept with my wife. The police don't do anything about that. You can still call the police and say, hey, this guy's putting stuff in my food to make me obese. The police won't do anything about that either. I guess you guys are all cursed. I guess you guys are all cursed because no one's going to do anything about any of those things. So anyway, this is my life. People have been switching my clothes out on me when I'm taking them in the washer and putting them in the dryer. I just don't have the time to stand there and watch it. I'm assuming it's somebody tied to Canadian national security. There's some bogus ass janitor that's on site that lives here in my interlodge. apartment, and and in my interlodge apartment, there's this guy, says his name is Sam. He looks like he might be Polynesian, Asian, mixed with Hawaiian, maybe with a little bit of Thai. I don't know exactly what the Thai are guilty of, but I think there's some sort of mixed breed of Thai and Hawaiian that might be guilty of imposing homosexuality on Asian people, because transvestites seem to be a very big thing in Thailand. I'm not happy about it, obviously, because me and my newly found religious convictions. It's also possible that classes and variations of Asians have been wiped out and replaced with copies of them, and that's in fact the moment in time that we exist, is that it is possible to wipe out an ethnic group of people and replace them with genetic copies of them that resemble them and act like them and that even think like them, or think and act like them but aren't really them. So so I'm going through a lot. I'm Ben Brown. I was raised apparently not by the state, by people operating from within the state for the sole purpose of representing people and changing that to stop them from putting things in your food and stop them from putting things in your ass and to stop them from turning your sons into homosexuals and your daughters into prostitutes. But everybody would rather poison my food and beat on me. And I don't get paid very much, and I'm not doing so well. And I've been worse. I've been living on the street, shooting crystal meth and heroin, 3-4 days at a time, with some little, government check, and I don't. I don't know. I don't know what else I could possibly do for these people. This thing has been imposed on me, and I really don't know how to go about fixing this thing. I call your bureaucrats and your ministries, and they hang up on me when I say, "Hi, my name is Ben Brown, and I'm calling to complain about something," and they just straight up hang up on me. And I know this might be an FBI sourced phone, but it doesn't matter where I buy this phone, because whenever I go to buy a phone, when I come home the very next day, it's a completely different phone, and it's got the same number hooked up to it, and it seems like to be a regular real phone and a normal phone. But somebody somewhere doesn't have or doesn't see who I'm calling or what I'm doing on my phone, and they're doing something that's really, really good. They're doing a really good job of isolating my internet networks and things like that. So I don't think that they're going to let me stay. And I know that this is the reason that I'm here. I mean, I'm connected to your language, I'm connected to your culture, I'm connected to your history and to everything about your identity. I didn't know that the superhero things were about me, or that the Dragon Ball thing was about me when I was little. They've totally messed with me my whole life. Like, there's times when I was little that I put my mouth on another little boy. It was his idea. I think I've put my mouth on 3 buttholes in my life that were women buttholes, and then like one little boy when I was a little boy. And I've had I think 2 or 3 penises in my mouth, but a man's never ejaculated in my mouth. I've never had a man's penis inside of my colon. And I've never ejaculated in another man's mouth. But somebody seems very determined to kind of press these rules or these laws concerning prophethood and concerning me. I know for a fact that I am the reason that the human anus is called an anus, after the Greek deity Uranus, and also the gas giant planet in our 9 or 8 planeted solar system. So there's a connection between Uranus, holy, and anus and the planets, and I've got a very long story, and nobody ever has time to sit around and listen to what it is that I'm saying, and nobody ever really listens to me. And somebody's determined to traumatize me psychologically so that I'm not so nice, and that I'm not so willing to help people fix their problems. I know for a fact that the leaders of the third world countries of the world have been given deals where they rape my children so that further down the line, if something happens where I'm in the position to help them and to help their communities, that I will be reluctant to help them because either they were involved in poisoning my food and silencing me and raping my children, or undermining me in some way. I know this for a fact. Like, I know specifically African nations, because of the Caribbean and native territorial dispute. There's someone that is deliberately trying to make things harder for me to be sympathetic or compassionate towards African people. They want me necessarily to shun them or to ignore them, so that they can find themselves in the same situation that they have constantly found themselves in, which is one of oppression and enslavement. It's also the position in which I currently find myself in. So, to be honest with you, I don't really understand why that would be necessary. I can't protect my food. My children are missing and getting raped somewhere, and they've murdered my grandmother and my father and my great grandfather, and my father and my great grandfather, and they've probably murdered several people that I'm related to and that I don't even know. And my life is just kind of like, here it is, and I'm caught up in an espionage war, and everybody just wants me to just go away so they can replace me with a clone that doesn't give a shit about what they do or doesn't say anything whenever they do whatever they do. Excuse me. So, I'm Benjamin Brown. You couldn't tell by looking at me that I'm part native, but I am native, and I do have Indian Arab ancestry, and I celebrate being Arab because I'm sincere about this Jewish thing and about this Muslim thing, and totally excited about being Arab. But now I'm like, oh, but you're totally gonna get killed because you're standing up to these people, or you're standing up to European Arab imperialists or the Greek imperialists, and I don't even know. And I'm just trying to follow through and do what I think is expected of me, and everybody's just obstructing me and trying to get me caught up on bullshit, and really trying to stop me. But the one thing that I do know that I win is that everybody that's assaulting me is a remote control animal that is essentially sterile, which yeah, you're totally like a sterile remote control animal. And with these devices in their heads, they couldn't tell if they were reproducing organically anyway. And they couldn't tell if they were lying in a bed next to their girlfriend or next to their wife anyway. Unless the people in charge went back in time and selectively bred themselves out of monkeys, then they were made by somebody else. And whoever says they're in charge was made for the sole purpose of being in charge, and probably made for the sole purpose of challenging me as an up and coming righteous authority spearhead, so to speak. Because I obviously am just completely vulnerable and completely ignorant, and not in complete control, but I mean well. And yes, you raped my children, and yes, you killed my father, and yes, you made me give a transvestite a hand job, and yes, you made me prostitute myself to a homosexual. But I guess the one thing that I seem to win is I still get to be Goku, even if I have a pot belly, and even if I can't even run for more than 15 minutes without stopping. That's still my character, and that's my thing. And somewhere out there's a little boy that might be my genealogical material that I would still honor as Gohan, as long as he fights for it, and as long as he does his best to be, heroic and be righteous, and only hurt people when they hurt him, and not bully and be mean to other people. And somewhere there's a little girl who doesn't know that the word heroin and the opium derivative is actually why she exists, and also because of me, and because I'm a big tonto, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing more than half the time. But there's 3 little superhero girls that whose names all start with the letter B, specifically because they allude to me, Ben Brown. Because I don't think they allude to the Better Business Bureau, because Ben Brown doesn't like the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And I'm not very fond of the bureaucracy that is going on here in Montreal, because it's poor bureaucracy, and all of these guys are snob tilt their heads up at you, yuppies or something. I don't even know. Anyway. But anyway, like, you know, Autumn has superheroes. She just doesn't just have heroine. She gets Buttercup and Blossom and Bubbles. Even though Bubbles is blonde and Blossom's red haired. She gets Buttercup because it also starts with a B. I'm not really cool with some of the people behind those animations, just like I'm not really cool with all the people in the entertainment industry. I've never met anybody in the entertainment industry, but I do know that they have a habit of raping children, and I know that a substantial portion of them are probably involved in hindering me here, burying me here, or hurting me here, and maybe even terminating my life. I'm just doing my best to kind of follow through and do what a concerned citizen would do. But it seems like the French government's ignoring me, and it seems like the Quebec government's ignoring me, and it seems like the English government is ignoring me, and my life is in danger, and these people are trying to steal my identity, and I will defend myself if I feel threatened. I know I'm supposed to be here. Saboteur, sabotage, James Bond, The Lord of the Rings, which also alludes to whatever it is that's happening with me, with Frodo, with his ring of power that makes him invisible. I'm constantly heckled by invisible ghosts here, ghost agents. Lord of the Rings has something to do with me. There's like profound English things. Harry Potter's elusive of some of the things that I go through, or some of the things that allude to me. All these prominent English things, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, all these things that are just kind of like, you know, things that sort of laugh at or sort of like find entertaining. Like, all these things have something to do with me, and I'm just like here trying to like okay, so how do I stop the economy from collapsing and saving you guys? And everybody's kind of just like, I don't know, but here, have some more Potbelly orange juice. Here you go, have some more Potbelly tap water. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what else I'm going to do. So that's my video log for the night. I'm kind of pressed, and I don't have enough time to really express myself. But Autumns and Ethan Rays, wherever you are, please be righteous and be good, and be safe, and defend yourselves and protect yourselves, and be on guard and study and learn and just be righteous and worship God. And if you can't be a Jew and you can't be a Muslim, then like do something that, like, you know, something similar to that, but just always be good to people and recognize God in everything that you see and everything that you do and everybody that you interact with the exception of Satanists and people that I've cursed. And you know, to all those people that have contributed to global ascension and global liberation, peace and blessings be upon you. To all those people that don't know if they're synthetic clones or if they come from organic pools, please find it in yourself to recognize God in yourself and recognize God in everything around you. If you don't have ancestral territorial rights to places like England or Mexico or Germany or China, there's no way that you don't have territorial rights to the heavens. And that's why I'm here, to reassert humanity's birthrights to the stars and to the heavens, no matter how cheesy some asshole who rapes kids wants you to think that sounds. So you have the right to explore space-time and to live somewhere else, where you're not bothered by ghosts who don't want you writing songs or writing your own poetry or doing exercises because they're threatened by you because you're a human being. And that's life. Okay, see you later.